Hi guys, welcome to Weekend Dev Challenge by CodeChef. So this is part 3 of the Weekend Dev Challenge 36, and here we'll be seeing the URL Shortener project. So what is this URL Shortener project? Basically, we have a long URL, for example www.codechef.com, and that we have to shorten it. We have to reduce it. So how do we shorten it is what we'll be seeing in this particular video. Here we have four parts. I mean the four different files for codes. One is URL request, URL repository, URL service, and URL controller. Whereas URL serves, is the main brain behind the entire logic of the program. URL controller is the manager. Repository stores all the data, and request is basically get and post. We'll be managing that. Now let us start with URL services. First, we have a public class URL service where we create the URL repository. We have a URL repository, and then we have the constructor injection where this particular, whenever this is called, it creates a repository for that particular URL. Now the second one is the shorten URL, the method to shorten URL. So we have the shorten URL, and then with the input would be the original URL for that. Now how do we shorten it? Is basically we convert everything into MD5D hash this thing code. So MD5 hash code. So basically a 32 characters hash code. The entire URL is contained in 32 digits hash code or characters hash code, and then we take only the first 6. From 0th to 5th, 6 is excluded. So first 6 characters as a short code. Now we check if the short code is not existing in the URL repository. If it is not existing, then we save it to the URL with the short code and the original URL. It is saved in like a JSON saying this is the original URL, this is the short URL for that. Now we have the next function is to get original URL. So to get original URL, we have to again go to the URL repository, and then we have the get original URL function here. So we have to call this get original URL function. All right. Now we are clear with URL service. Now let's go to URL repository. So this URL repository is basically storing all the generated URLs. First one is the save URL function. That is basically to save URL. We have the shortcode as well as the original URL. So we save using the put, we save both the shortcode and original URL. Next comes the get original URL. So again, to get original URL, we need the shortcode. So from the shortcode, we can generate the original URL. So we use the get because we need we need the original URL. Now we have to check if the shortcode exists for the given URL. If the shortcode already exists, so if you enter the same URL twice, if the shortcode already exists, then no need of saving it again. So for that we use boolean if it is true or false, and this function is contains key with that shortcode. Then next comes get all the URL mapping. So this gives all the URLs that is stored in the JSON format. Now next comes URL request. So this is quite simple. This is basically getters and setters. So basically have the parameterized constructor for that. Whenever the URL is taken, this is called. For the original URL is saved as the original URL. Now then we have the get original URL. So when there we return the original URL. To set original URL, we want to set it, then we call this parameterized constructor, that is this dot original URL is equal to original URL. Last comes the URL controller. So in this URL controller, we have the constructor injection first. So basically this is the constructor injection which calls the URL service, the main brain. Now next comes, we have two parts. One is create short URL, one more is redirect to original URL from the short URL. So this create short URL, we have the shorten URL, then we have the function where the shorten URL takes the input, that is original URL, it takes as the input. So request.get original URL is the input given for the short URL, and then we convert everything into short URL. So it is converted into short URL and stored in JSON form. So then we return the response in the JSON form saying this is the shortcode for this particular URL. Next comes the redirect to original URL. We need the original URL back. So this is redirect to original URL. So how does this work is basically dot get original URL. So here with the input would be short URL because there the input was original URL. Here it is the short URL. So we have to convert that into original URL. Then we check if the original URL is equal to null. If it is not there in the existing repository, then we say it is not found. Now if it is found, if the original URL is found, then we have the status 302 that is basically for found, and then we redirect it into the original URL's website, and then we store it. Now let me submit the program. So let me run the program. Yeah, so application is started. Now let me enter the shorten URL. So you can see this is a shortened URL link. So let me submit the program now. So test cases have passed, and that's it for this video. In the next video. Thank you.